The hidden dangers of gambling, a threat to individuals and society. Gambling is one of the most dangerous and destructive vices in human society. It is far more than a simple pastime or a form of entertainment. It is a path that often leads to financial ruin, moral decay, and emotional suffering. At first glance, gambling may appear harmless, a way to have fun or try one's luck. But in reality, it is a deeply deceptive activity that lures individuals with the promise of instant wealth, only to leave most of them with significant losses. This inherent deception is what makes gambling so perilous, as it plays on human hope and greed while undermining rational decision-making. One of the primary dangers of gambling is its ability to transform a productive and responsible individual into a person dependent on luck and chance. Instead of dedicating time and effort to gain knowledge, work hard, and build a stable future, gamblers spend hours, sometimes entire days, in casinos or in front of online betting platforms, placing their money on uncertain outcomes. Even when they win small amounts occasionally, the thrill of gambling encourages repeated behavior, gradually leading to addiction. Over time, the gambler becomes trapped in a vicious cycle of hope, loss, and desperation, unable to break free. The consequences of gambling extend far beyond financial loss. On a psychological level, it causes immense stress, anxiety, and emotional instability. Gamblers often experience sleepless nights, constant worry, and obsessive thoughts about their next bet or how to recover from previous losses. This mental strain can escalate into serious psychological disorders, including depression, anxiety disorders, aggression, and even suicidal tendencies in extreme cases. The emotional toll is not limited to the gambler alone. Family members often bear the burden of this stress, living in an environment filled with tension, mistrust, and constant fear of financial insecurity. Socially, gambling is equally destructive. It erodes family bonds and community trust. Marriages often suffer because one spouse may become secretive or deceptive about gambling activities. Children can grow up in unstable homes where basic needs are neglected because the household income is spent on betting. The societal impact is widespread, as gambling contributes to a culture of dishonesty, irresponsibility, and moral weakness. Communities where gambling is prevalent often face higher levels of crime, including theft, fraud, and embezzlement, as individuals seek ways to fund their addiction. Gambling venues themselves sometimes become hubs for illegal activities, including drug use, prostitution, and other forms of moral corruption. Economically, gambling is devastating both for individuals and society. For the gambler, it often leads to debt, bankruptcy, and poverty. For society, it drains resources that could have been invested in productive economic activities, education, or social development. Many governments attempt to regulate gambling because unchecked gambling can contribute to economic instability, especially when citizens prioritize betting over legitimate work. The losses incurred are not just financial. They also include wasted time, lost opportunities, and the deterioration of human potential. Religiously and ethically, gambling is condemned in many cultures and faiths. It is seen as an act that fosters greed, dishonesty, and harm to oneself and others. In Islamic teachings, for instance, gambling is explicitly forbidden as it is considered an abomination of Satan's work that creates enmity and distracts from spiritual duties. Similarly, other religions emphasize the moral dangers of relying on chance for wealth instead of honest labor. The ethical implications are clear. Gambling is not merely a personal choice. It is an action that can negatively affect society at large. The most insidious aspect of gambling is its ability to start subtly. It often begins as casual play, a few coins at a slot machine, a small wager on a sports game, or a card game with friends. This initial harmless impression can quickly escalate into habitual gambling, as the individual seeks the excitement and temporary relief it provides. The false hope of winning big encourages risk-taking beyond reason, while losses are minimized in the gambler's mind as temporary setbacks to be corrected by further betting. Over time, this cycle of hope, loss, and chasing the next win becomes addictive and extremely difficult to break. Families, educators, governments, and individuals all share responsibility in combating gambling. Families must instill values of patience, hard work, and financial literacy from an early age. Schools and media outlets should raise awareness about the risks and consequences of gambling. Governments should enforce strict regulations, monitor gambling activities, and provide support programs for those struggling with gambling addiction. At the individual level, awareness and self-control are essential. Understanding that money earned honestly and through effort is far more valuable, reliable, and honorable than the fleeting, illusory gains promised by gambling. In conclusion, gambling is not merely a harmless leisure activity. It is a social, economic, and psychological hazard. It destroys wealth, destabilizes families, harms mental health, encourages crime, and undermines moral and ethical values. Its appeal lies in illusion, but its reality is loss, regret, and suffering. The danger is universal, affecting not just the gambler but society as a whole. Recognizing the destructive nature of gambling and taking proactive steps to prevent its spread is essential for the well-being of individuals, families, and communities. It is a battle that requires vigilance, education, and ethical commitment, but it is one that must be fought to safeguard human potential and societal harmony.